Oh yeah. We were actually supposed to be headed to NAB today, going to Las Vegas to see the convention, but a shoot got booked. But funny enough, we're still going through Las Vegas to get to New Orleans. Okay. Ooh, I'm coming out ahead. All right, do I want apples, strawberries, flowers, mushrooms? I feel like I should stay away from the mushrooms.
And I started off with $5. Pretty good.
Now I've got to figure out how to get back to the airport to pick up the guys.
Look at that pack job.
That's why we love the minivan. We made it to New Orleans. We're in the room where we're going to do most of the filming, and unfortunately it's a little small. I don't know if you can tell with the GoPro's wide-angle lens, but I can assure you this is a very, very small room. Not what I would normally prefer, but we got to make it work. This was kind of booked last minute, so there wasn't a lot of space available in town. This is what we have, and it's not bad, it's just not ideal. So we're gonna start getting set up. It's the night before. We flew in on Sunday so that we can make sure we're here. There's no flight delays. We can get everything kind of set up. It's nice that we're actually staying in the room that we're filming in because that makes it kind of convenient for us. Get everything set up, and yeah, hopefully we'll be ready to go early tomorrow to start recording in this kind of small room. It's gonna work though. So sometimes it's hard to find good chairs for interviews because oftentimes there are wheels on the bottom. Got kind of lucky with this room. This chair is actually pretty nice low profile so it doesn't draw attention to itself. No wheels, nice and sturdy, and we have a couple of them so the interviewee and the interviewer can be on the same eye level. That's ideal. You probably don't always need a mat box and rail kit, but you can find a cheap set. It definitely helps make your setup look a lot nicer, especially if you're shooting with something like a DSLR. It adds a little bulk and girth to your setup, so people think it's a little bit more professional. Even though it's not always necessary, it's definitely good to have on hand. You're going to want to move things around, whether it's pillows, furniture, whatever happens to be, you've got to move it to make it look its best. So that's what we're going to do right now, so I have to actually move the camera in order to do that.
Is the boom in the shot?
Yes.
Now it is? All right. Lighting okay? Awesome.
We are off to do a little filming with the Phantom 4, and one of the most helpful things that you can have while filming is a good spot that's out of the way to kind of launch and fly from. People tend to crowd around and look at what you're doing if you're looking at a remote control and then up into the air, so they kind of know what you're doing and they can draw a crowd. So we're actually headed, what we found is that some good spots to fly from are the top of parking garages. They're usually pretty empty, especially at this time of the day. This is the evening, and it's a little bit higher up from everything else. You get a good, nice, clear point of view, and there's usually not that many people around. And there's also usually not anything above you, which is really helpful as well when flying. So we are headed over to this parking structure to make our way to the top and launch from there. Apparently, they don't run the elevator on the weekends, so we have the long way up. The hardest part about flying a drone is giving up the control to someone else and taking turns, because you just want to fly it the whole time, but you got to share, you got to be fair. One thing that I think it's really important to keep in mind about drones or quadcopters or multi-rotors, whatever you want to call them, is that they're just another tool in the tool bag. You wouldn't want to just get a drone, spend all your money on just that, and have aerial shots unless maybe you were specializing in aerial photography or videography. But I think most people want to use one to supplement and complement their footage, but not solely rely on it. So just like a slider or a GoPro or any other kind of Ronin gimbal type thing that you want to throw at a production, it's still just one tool. And I think productions look kind of weak and not as good when they rely on one trick.
Do one more.
The first half of the day we were doing a customer testimonial with B-roll, and now we've moved to more executive style interviews, and we've actually switched locations. So we're now in this meeting room to give it more of a business feel rather than something more like homey like we were doing before in the suite. So this is actually working out pretty nice. It's a pretty boring and bland meeting room, as these rooms often are, but thankfully with a little set dressing over here and some nice lighting, we're going to be able to make it work. Here's the meeting room setup. We've got a very similar setup with the key light over here reinforcing the window light that we got back there, and then we've also got a fill over here. The only thing we're missing is something to fill in that empty space back over there, but we are working on it, so hopefully once we get a couch we'll be good to go. Right now we're on a mission to find a different parking structure to fly the drone off of because, you know, we just want some variety. There's one right here, but there's also this one up there. What is this? This is the weirdest. Some high-tech elevator. Let's hope this is good. We'll see. Ooh! This is gonna work. It looks like they just painted this. This is gonna work great.
So this is my first time drinking, what is this again?
Starbucks?
Well, it's Starbucks, yeah, but it's what they call it in there.
Iced vanilla
latte. They don't call it that at McDonald's, they just call it vanilla iced coffee. We're gonna see which one's better. No, it's not that bad, but I still prefer McDonald's.
You think McDonald's is better?
And a fraction of the price.